Well, we ended up getting some rain the other day, and that's kept us out of the field for a couple days. We actually had rain and snow, and it was down into the 20s for temperatures. But this is the field we were in the other day. This is one of our driest fields. The whole thing is kind of on a big cresting hill. You can see here the soil, for our area anyway, this is a drier soil. So this will be the first field we put in. We're hoping to get to it today. It's pretty windy out and sunny, but it is only, I'm guessing it's about 40 degrees out here, maybe 45 right now. So I'm hoping things are going to dry up here in the next couple of hours. I'm kind of digging around with my feet and checking as to how much moisture is underneath there. There's quite a bit. You can see there when you kick it, you know, it looks dry on top, and when you kick it away, there's quite a bit of moisture underneath there, which the reason we don't want to go with too much moisture underneath there is because we'll compact the ground with the heavy equipment. We don't want to pack the soil too tight. That's never good for yield. It's not good for the crops that you're planting in the ground there. So that's the reason we don't want to do that. It can kind of wreck the soil. Little bit of moisture though actually is good for the seed, especially if it's warm, which again it's not. And we actually have a chance of rain and snow coming on Monday. It's Friday now, but we're kind of getting to that point where it's go time. We want to try and get our crops in because we're limited as far as a growing season here. We're up far enough north that we need to get the crops in. So it's never good to have seed in the ground when it's down 30 degrees, but you know, we want to get it in. It'll sit through the middle of next week, and when it warms up, at least it's in the ground and it should come up and start growing pretty quickly. After looking at that field, I have decided that we are going to go out and start planting this afternoon. So I called John Deere. They're going to send a guy out to make sure we've got everything set up right. Kind of a guy that specializes in making sure the equipment is set up good and making sure I've got everything ready to go here. Everything's all set up. So right now I'm waiting for my field view cab to update. Actually, it looks like it finished updating, but this is field view cab. It works a little separately from the 2630 here, and I've been messing around with this, so I got some more data loaded onto this. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's the yard. That's where we're sitting right now. And I've used this to write some variable rate prescriptions. Here's the farm we're gonna go to from the map. Okay, well anyway, that's updating, so I'm working on that. What I'm gonna do now is go in the office and get a USB stick and try to load a prescription that I wrote off of that for variable rate seeding. I'm gonna try and load that off of my laptop and get it down there onto the John Deere 2630, because this right here is what actually controls the planter, so I'll be able to set up variable rate in there. And so I'm gonna kind of mess with that while I wait for the guy from Deere to come out. Another thing I'm gonna do is unfold this beast and take some measurements and make sure that the measurements are all correct. And I'll enter them into here. Let's see, enter them in here to make sure that all of our measurements are right, so that the GPS knows where we're at all times and knows where the planter's at. So those are a couple things I'm going to work on before I take off and head to the field. Okay, I went out and took some measurements. That's a little bit boring, but I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about here. So we set up our machine. It's an 8000 series RT tractor. Here's our offsets. We set up our A, B, C, and D values in here. So I go out and measure like B, the inline distance from the non-steering axle to the GPS receiver. So I went out and measured that at 36 inches, put in my 36 inches, accepted that, and I did that for these other ones also. 120 inches and A and D are not important. Those are zeros. Then I went over to implement, filled out my planter, which is a 1770 RT, 24 row, 30 inch, and went to my offsets and set these values up as well. There's only a couple in here to do also. So that lets the tractor know. The GPS sits up top here, and that lets the tractor know from this GPS point how far that GPS point is from the things that it's controlling back there. We are planting, boys and girls. We got out here, Ron from John Deere came out. We spent a couple hours going through everything, making sure everything was set up just right, making sure the measurements on the monitor were good, everything was good to go on the planter, setting all our vacuum pressures and the CCS and everything. So I'm up and going now. According to the monitors here, everything's going really good. Sounds like Dad found some dry dirt a few miles away, so He called in for some fertilizer on that, and that just happens to be that one other field that we didn't get fertilizer on last fall because we were considering maybe putting beans on it again. So he called in for some fertilizer on that, and he's headed over there with the digger or the cultivator, and he's going to work that in. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get that planted. So we're going to be rolling here, hopefully roll hard through the weekend, and it sounds like a pretty good chance of rain and snow on Monday. So unfortunately, that's going to shut us down, but we do have a couple of days of cold temps there. So I'm planting this seed a little bit deeper than I maybe normally would, just to try to protect it from that cold for a couple of days. It actually turned out really nice right now. It must be, I don't remember how to find it on the tractor there, but it's probably 55 degrees out and windy and sunny, so things are drying up pretty decent here. It's maybe a little colder than where it is where you're at, but it's a pretty nice day here. Sounds like next week we're going to be in the 60s a lot, so we're going to keep rolling because the calendar's getting to the point where we want to have the corn in the ground, and I'll keep making videos and updating you with how things are going. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. Millennial Farmer, out.